I will start the presentation from the industry chairs highlight about our track. So I'm Rodrigo Alves, I'm here with Olivier, and Vito, unfortunately, we already said he could not be present in person here. So I will just try to talk a bit about numbers again, just to give you like now a more in-depth view about our track. So this year, as everyone know, we have an increase of 104% of submissions. So we went from 73 in last year to 149. But as you can see in the graph, it's a growth trend of industry in RecSys. So we actually accepted more papers as well because of this. This leads to 54 accepted papers, but reduce the acceptance rate for 36%. And out of these 54, we selected 15 for Spotlight Oral. That leads to acceptance for a Spotlight Oral of 10%. We also increased much more the PC members to 128. And we try to have at least 3 reviews for each paper this year. I would say that 95% of these papers had at least 3 reviews, and the ones that had 2 reviews, we also review ourselves. Yes, regarding affiliations, we had 65 industries and 22 academic ones. The main activities of industry, so we are having their highlights right now. The Spotlight Oral presentations is going to happen yesterday, is going to happen today and tomorrow. And we have today 54 posters, all the papers this year. This is different from previous year that we had orals or posters. So every poster that was accepted today, we have a poster in the poster section. So be free to talk to the authors. Just to give the idea what was most discussed in these papers, of course, following the trend of LLMs. LLMs in recommendation systems was like the most popular topic, but also we could observe cold start and sparse data challenges. That's one of the biggest change of our community. What I found particularly interesting that we had multi-objective optimization criteria. So a lot of papers will talk about balancing engagement or revenue, diversity, different optimization objectives. User feedback and negative sign-offs. This is like how we can leverage more explicit feedback and implicit feedback to improve relevance of recommendations. Retrieval ranking at scale, so a lot of papers also talking about scales, and advanced embedding techniques, as we could observe in the last session of posters that we had, I think 5 industry papers yesterday. So I'll pass the word to Olivier.
All right. So we have very diverse sets of topics, but we also have very diverse sets of domain applications. So video and streaming services, these are the large and very well-known companies that also submit to the track, but we have a very wide breadth. So e-commerce, music streaming are also big and important. There's a couple of papers on ads, so things about, it's still a recommendation problem, but someone is actually paying for the recommendation. Search across media is also a big thing. Jobs and career platforms, which I think is something that in recent years is really becoming more and more important, and then also multi-domain platforms. We made a couple of graphs to kind of show what the spread is like across countries, across sort of author affiliations. And so we see that there is a big number of submissions coming from one author at least who has an affiliation in the US listed on EasyChair. So sometimes these things are wrong, but this is what people click when they make an EasyChair account. So this is all of the data we used for that. And so whilst we see that there is indeed a very large presence from the US and from China, the larger countries in the world, there is also a very, very long tail. So we are happy to be well sort of represented by the diversity of the RecSys community with 35 countries in total. Looking at which are the sort of companies that are really sending most papers. It turns out there as well we have the sort of usual suspects. So the larger companies who are also, long-time sponsors of the conference seem to really focus on the RecSys industry track, which we are very, very happy with. But then also, I spent a long time trying to actually get this into a plot that looked somewhat nicely, because there was a very, very long tail to the right-hand side there. So I'm also happy to see that it's not just the bigger companies. We are really trying to, and I think really succeeding in getting a very broad representation of also smaller companies that submit to our track. And you will also see that in that long tail, but also here as well, there are not only companies. So there are a few sort of universities and then research labs in academia as well that send their papers to our track. Finally, I have a plot as well to look at the number of authors per submission. I think this is typically something that's going to be different in the research tracks and the sort of industry tracks. And you can see that, like typically, if you want to get something in production, it's going to really take a bigger team. So typically we have sort of more authors per submission. And there's even one submission that had a whopping 19 authors for a 3-page paper. So that was quite impressive. It also looks we have 767 unique authors in total who submitted to the RecSys industry track. So that's about 75% of the size of this room, just in people who sort of expressed an interest in the track and had work to submit them. I think that's also something we're very, very proud of. So where should you be going next? Today we have 54 posters on very, very different types of topics. We worked a little bit to make sure that we don't have all of the larger company posters on one hand and all of the smaller company posters on the other hand. We try to maximize the spread a little bit. So I hope you will enjoy in the coffee break, the lunch break, and also this afternoon to just go there and talk to people and see the breadth of research that this research community has to offer. And then we just want to thank you all, thank all of the authors, it's a very big group of names. Thanks to my co-chairs, thanks to the general chairs and the program chairs, and thanks to all of you for being here. And the next, we will have the highlights from the RecSys Challenge.